How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? So we're going to look at 5 keys that are massively dropping in price. Massively. Man, some of these books on here, it's like, ugh, man. It just went so big keys, just quite a bit. So, but before I do get in the video, we are accepting consignments. We're always accepting consignments for our weekly auctions, but we also have a featured auction coming up fairly soon. So getting your featured auctions, we're only 5%. That's all we charge, and it's at collectorscomics.com. Let's get in the video. All right, first up, man, Special Marvel Edition 15, first appearance of Shang-Chi. Whew, man. A 9.8 recently sold for $24.50. 6 months ago is about almost $3,500, down 29%. 2024, all of it combined, roughly about $3,200, down 23%. But at its peak, it was 18,000, down 86%. Now, this might not be the biggest drop, but I'm looking at this graph. This is below the comic book boom. It's getting around those parts. So, but it's just crazy. If you look at that graph, it's just kind of like straight up, just literally straight up to the sky. 18,000, man. And there's a couple sales around there, around 16, 17, 18. So it wasn't just like one-off sale that just sold for that much. I mean, honestly, Shang-Chi came out, and to me, that movie was meh, right? It was okay. It was okay. It was right after, the MCU was at its best, and it was just meh for me. I've never wanted to or even thought about ever go back and watching it again. Never once. I think that's the sentiment for most people, that it was just, a lot of people will say, oh, it's so good, but it's like, okay, rank it with all the other MC movies. And then I remember I had a friend, and he went and saw Captain Marvel, the first one, and I was like, it's not that good. And he's like, oh, it's so great, great. And I was like, no, it's not. He's like, oh, it's so awesome. And I'm not one of those people that likes everything. Definitely not. So I was like, fine, rank that Captain Marvel movie with all the other MCU movies came out. He ranked it like one of the bottom. And I'm like, see, it's not that great. You ranked it near the bottom. So stop saying it's great. But he's just one of those people that likes everything. There's a lot of people out there. I particularly didn't care for the Shang-Chi movie. It did okay at the box office. Like, I think it was definitely pretty profitable. But obviously, there's not a lot of buzz going about it. Not a lot of people clamoring to have Shang-Chi and Shang-Chi 2. And I'm sure there's people out there that do. But it was kind of like Brie Larson was like, do people even want me to be Captain Marvel? And so they finally came out with Captain Marvel 2. And everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a massive hit, because the first one made over $1 billion. I'm like, okay. And then it was a bomb. Lost money. So I think they're a little like, do people actually really like Shang-Chi before we decide to spend $300 million making this film? All right, next is we got Ultimate Fallout 4, number 4. This is the first appearance of Miles Morales. Continues to drop. A 9.8 recently sold for $750. 6 months ago it was $948, down 21%. All 2024 is about $1,025, down 27%. And then at its peak, it was about almost $4,500, down 83%. I'm just looking at this graph. It's still going down, although slowing, still going down. It's not. I like to compare things before the comic boom. So comic boom was roughly around end of 2020, usually around spring 2021. And you can just go back, look at my graph, and it's just straight up. I try to see where it is comparatively, and it's looking slightly above 2020 levels still. If I can remember correctly, 2020, 2019, these books were probably, in the 6s to maybe low 7s. So it's approaching that number. It's ever so slight. This is a very popular book in terms of a lot gets sold. So it's a nice graph. And it's not like rare. So it's like, oh, one here, one there, just all the time. And so it's ever so slightly coasting down like a nice little airplane landing. Right, very non-bumpy ride. So my suspicion is it's still going to drop. All right, next is we got Transformers number 1. A 9.8 recently sold for $840. 6 months ago it was about $1038, down 19%. And all 2024 is about $1267, down 34%. And at its peak it was $3200, down 74%. It looked like maybe came down for about a year. It was pretty steady. And then it started dropping again, continues to drop. It's nowhere near its 2019, 2020 levels. Nowhere near. It's still quite quite above. So the question is, there's some books that are above their 2019 and 2020 levels and have been stable. Is this going to be one of those books selling for 840, continuously? Like, oh, that's like its bottom. I really don't know. I mean, Transformers is very popular, very, very popular. So it would lead me to believe that, I don't know, that it's going to be above 2019 and 2020 levels, but could it continue to drop? I mean, the data is showing me that's going to continue to drop. All right, next is we got New Teen Titans #2, first appearance of Deathstroke. A 9.8 is down 17% from 576, now selling for 480. All 2024 is finally 622, down 23%. Its as peak, it was 1800, down 73%. This one looks to be right around its 2019, and just gotta. I follow football, so Cooper Kupp just went to the Seattle Seahawks for $45 million. Anyways, you probably don't care, but anyways, yeah. So it looks like it's probably gonna still go a little bit down, but I think it's getting near the bottom. That is my personal opinion, just going off of data. That's what I usually go off of, and so that's where I'm thinking it's gonna be. So $480. I don't think this book is gonna be below $400. Anything can happen, but I would strongly predict that it will not be a below $400 book. So if you're looking to pick one up, honestly, this is probably a pretty good time. Somewhere around here, pretty good time. So, you don't have to rush out the door. You can obviously, think on it, save up your pennies. But I think you should be fine if you jumped in around this time. All right, last on the list is Werewolf by Night 32, first appearance of Moon Knight. In a 9.6, one recently sold for $7,200. And 6 months ago, 75, down 4%. All 2024 is average about 74, and down 3%. And at its peak, it was 26,500, down 73%. And that's 99.8. Man, what's a 9.8 worth at its peak? Probably 50 to 80,000. I don't know, maybe 100. I have no idea. I don't know. It doesn't sell that often. I'm sure there's a sale somewhere. But anyways, this is for a 9.6. It looks like it's honestly, for a 9.6, it's around its 2020 levels, a little higher than its 2019 levels. Like I said, 6 months ago, 7,500. All 2024 is 74, around 72. So honestly, this is probably where it's going to be. Could it be a little lower? Yes, of course. There could also be a sale. It's a little higher. So right now, to me, this is kind of like where it's at. It's right in here. And yeah, you could have a sale a little higher, a little lower, but I think it's hit its not floor. I don't want to say floor, but I don't think if there was another sale of this for a 9.6 in an auction or something like that, could it be a little lower? Yeah. But then the following sale could be a little higher. So that's what I think it is right now. So it's kind of bottom out. That's for a 9.6 in general. I'm trying to remember off the other grades off the top of my head. Some are dropping, some slightly going up. I would say in general, this book is still dropping slightly if you went across all grade ranges, not just the 9.6 in particular. But there's some that are going up a little bit, some going down. But overall, if you look at the next 6 months, I would say they're probably slightly going to be going down, but probably bottoming out in the next 6 months, somewhere around there. Unless there's some news that like Moon Knight's going to be in something, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, it will probably shoot back up. But it's getting near the bottom. That is it. Have a great day.